Do you even G.I. Joe, bro?
Yeah!
All right, folks, we are here at the Kentuckiana G.I. Joe Expo Summer 2025. This is my favorite show. It's amazing how this show has grown over the last 12 years. I didn't go the first year. My friend Brian went, and he said, well, it's just a room with some guys, a card table selling G.I. Joes. And so I went the next year, and it was one room, and then it was two rooms, and they added the winter show, and then they added a third room, and then they moved out of the hotel and moved down to the conference center here. Of course, the show used to be in Louisville, and now it's in Shepherdsville at the Parakeet Springs Conference Center, which is just like 10 minutes outside of Louisville. It's not like it's a drive or anything. So anyways, this is the Friday Colonel's preview night. It's $30 for the preview night, and they're open from 5 to 8. And just get in and see if we can find some deals. I'll be back tomorrow for the main show, but this is just a fun time to catch up with some folks and see what we can find. So let's head on in.
Let's see what I can find.
He sold the rest of his figures, huh? I'm Brian. Sean, nice to meet you. I'm just trying to help. Yeah.
I did. I'm going to show you. I'm like, you definitely did not.
The Eagle Hawk? Well, I got it home. I got it here. I realized I'm missing one missile. One stinking missile.
I would do some of the Joes I've got you can walk from them. Should be.
Life's short, man. Life is short. Just gotta.
That's why I use my slower. So it's kind of hard to do all that. Sure.
Oh, that too, yeah.
How you doing, dude?
Hey, good. How's it going?
Good, man. I'm good.
Well, they do come from on Amazon. What they did for a while. I got one. Or even if you
Grab some stuff out of your cheap bins.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. What do we got here?
What do we got?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25,
40?
40. Let's go. We'll go 35, dude.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. You need a bag, dude?
That'd be awesome if you don't care.
I just want to try to balance that.
All right.
Let's see. I got some in here.
Hey, how you doing? I'm back. The Galvatron and the Skullgrin, they're all complete, right?
Yeah.
In the box.
Yep.
200 and what, 125?
No inserts.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Clean.
This, I think I stuck a catalog in here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a little paperwork.
Okay, cool.
And then the papers are there, and then there's like 2 pieces of styrofoam that are in there also.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, sweet.
That is a
Kick it on up.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? Just like that, he ran off. Can't blame him.
Yeah, it's ready. I mean, they'll have to take it out.
I have a Sharpie in my bag at home.
Well,
Not at home, in every spot.
how's it going? How you doing? So, I mean, if you knew what you're doing, you could replace that. Has the whole
So you get the scavengers and you get the crowd later. But knowing you got some pack of people here in
I've got one here. I think I've got 70 on it. If you're interested, I can come down to 60. He's pink. Doesn't have his parachute.
I got these two.
And I think his elbows are.
Hello.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
Doesn't like that. So you guys want to
Tech support, it's not working. That's mine. You just turn it on and off. No, I didn't turn it on and off. Or, you know, yes, I've done that 75 times. Times, that's not fixing it. that's my extent.
Yep. Oh, good. I'll help you find something soon.
Hi, how are you doing today?
How you doing?
Good.
I'm waiting for my grandbabies. This is buying me time until they come. I'm not kidding when I say that.
Yeah, the panels here, and then the doll, you know, it's that every year there's always like one of us wants one figure, and no one has it. And you come next year, there'll be 20 of them.
I've seen 2. And they are $35.
Just with the shield, though. You just want the shield, right? Yeah, there's not a lot of guys selling just parts.
That's because they're complete.
Right. 35 is not bad. They sell for like 50.
No, it's not bad.
Never see it, never look at it. Yeah. But if you make it for a party size, you can then sell them that way. And they'll actually display that way. Just make it get rid of all
$6 to ship it to you.
Yeah.
But it would be an exact replica. She's like, she's making twice as much money as what she's making.
You say true things, bro. Right.
Miles from and he found like a case.
Yeah, it was like the guy that.
I got rid of all that stuff.
I get it. I mean, well, the thing is, it's endless, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, you'll never
complete. Yeah. Well, that's like that crazy thing you told me about that guy, that addict, that
110?
Yeah, but it was a guy who worked there and he bought him. And then when he put them on eBay, people flipped the fuck out because it seemed at first glance to be the original prototypes that were used in the 1982 catalog before the line had even been released. Because there was a little base that had never been released. Zap had a different head, Short Fuse had a different head.
Right. I know that's the thing. If you know it's cheap, why don't you just buy it and sell it? Yeah. I'll go with you.
The very first one. It's cool.
Cool.
You can't even find one on eBay if you've ever even used one sold. Oh no, you're good.
All right, and we are back from the 2025 Kentuckiana G.I. Joe Expo. And it's actually been a couple days. I've been pretty busy the last couple days, so I'm just now getting into all the junk that I bought. So, what did we get? Well, the first night, the preview night, I didn't buy a ton because I didn't want to blow everything before there was another deal I wanted to do the next day. So, just bought some cheap stuff. Got a couple of bags of Care Bear stuff here. And these are like pencil toppers or cake toppers. and they're real clean, very cute. I loved Care Bears when I was a kid. I loved anything colorful, really. And it's a line I thought about getting back into, but I just don't see them at shows as much. I guess they're thought of as like little kid toys or girl toys. And so a lot of people just aren't going to bring them. And there was a dealer there, and she actually had a whole box of the figures, the articulated figures, which is what I had as a kid. And they were $5 a piece, and I thought, well, those aren't going to go anywhere. No one is here except me really looking for that stuff. So I can walk around and come back to them, no problem. And of course, the theme of the weekend was I left them behind, and when I came back, all gone, every single one of them. So I guess the lesson as always is trust that first instinct, and if you see a good deal, pounce on it, because there is no guarantee you're going to see it again. So anyways, I don't think there's much by way of value on these guys, and I'm honestly not sure if these are vintage, you know, in the 80s from when I was collecting, or not collecting, but just playing with, or if these are, I know there was a line like from early 2000s, like 2000, 2002, something like that. There aren't any markings on them that I can see, but they're real cheap. It was 2 bags of Care Bears. So yeah, I picked those up. And also on the cheap side, this is a line I've been dabbling in, loose figures. Of course, I'm a huge DC Comics fan. And I do love the classic superpowers. I'd kind of held off on the McFarlane superpowers except for just the ones I really wanted. And recently I thought, you know, since the line is ending, or at least McFarlane's run with the license is ending, maybe I'll go back and pick some of these up. And there are a lot of them that I don't really care about having, you know, on card unless they're the right price. And these were $5 a piece. So at $5, that is exactly what I want to pay. It's not a bad deal. I think most of these are probably going to be like $10 figures. You might pay 11 or 12 on eBay. They're not much. This was a nice one though. This is the Gold Flash. I think he's more like a $20 figure. So yeah, for $5, that was good. And at the same booth, very nice guy. I wish I got his name. He had a bunch of DC Multiverse and stuff. But I got this Shining Knight Platinum for 15 bucks because I think the box has a tear in it or something, but I'll be opening this up. This is a series that I actually really loved, New 52, Demon Knights. It didn't run very long, maybe 18, 20 issues, 24, I don't know. Didn't run very long, but I always really dug the series. So this one will go with the Demon, who's in his outfit from the Demon Knights series. So yeah, 15 bucks, can't beat it. All right, next up, some cheap DC figures. Now, I probably talked about it before, and if I haven't, I probably should. I'm a huge fan of the stuff that was being done in the early 2000s. It was a golden age for DC toy collectors. You had Mattel. They started with the Batman line, and then the DC line, which had Superman and Batman characters, and then DC Universe Classics, which was a great line. And then they added Justice League Unlimited and Infinite Heroes, and so, or Infinite Crisis, right? So there were tons of DC figures on the market for like 10 years or so. It was awesome. But my favorite is always going to be DC Direct. They were not as articulated, but the sculpts were absolutely beautiful. So when DC Direct was really running, I bought everything. I bought every line as it came out. And then over time, I ended up selling them, most of them. I still have my Jack Kirby Fourth World New Gods set, and a few other random figures. But recently I thought, you know, these are great, and because some of these characters have been released in several lines in the interim, they're pretty cheap. You know, there are a lot of DC Direct figures that used to sell for 50, 60 bucks that you can get for 20 or less now. It's pretty great. So anyway, one guy, I think it was the Toylanta booth, nice guy, enjoyed talking to him, had a bin of cheap DC Direct stuff. So I got all these for less than 10 bucks. So got the Guy Gardner, my favorite Green Lantern, having a moment now because of the Superman movie, but I do like this one. I actually have the DC Universe Classics figure in my Justice League International display, but I might swap them out for this one. And here we have the Justice League International. This is the Guy Gardner from DC Universe Classics, and these are a mixture of DC Universe Classics and DC Direct figures. And then it's right next to the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold Shrine, something that every home should have for this one. We got Adam Strange. This was the JLA Series 2 wave. These figures, the one problem that DC Direct had was that scale was kind of wonky. So like the Firestorm in this line is enormous, and Adam is pretty big himself. But this is a beautiful figure. Again, not as articulated, but the sculpts are just gorgeous. I just love those clean lines. Great portraits. He's got his holster and his gun and his jetpack. And then from that same wave, the elongated man, who came with a neck piece that you could swap in, make his neck longer. But one of my favorite characters of all time. And I've recently been picking up the JSA, the Golden Age figures, and I needed an Hour Man, so the Rex Tyler Golden Age Hour Man. Got a Crime Syndicate power ring with a stand. And last, this was the best deal. Of course, I just dropped him, but Legion of Superheroes Mon-El. Huge Legion fan. I had all of these, and most of them are not expensive, but for some reason Mon-El goes for quite a bit more than the others. Loose, he can command 40, 50 bucks. You can get them for less if you catch an auction somewhere, but asking price is usually going to be $40 or $50 and quite a bit more on cards. So for less than 10 bucks for Mon-El, that was definitely a deal. Okay, next up, some truly random stuff. I bought a Batman the Animated Series tablecloth from a really nice guy at the South Louisville Toy and Antique Mall booth. This is the kind of weird stuff I like. I have a hard time turning it down when I find it. And he showed it to me, and I said, you know what, I will buy your tablecloth. 1993, sealed. Cool. Another thing I like are these generic cases, these vintage generic cases, because I had a bunch of them as a kid. Got this space case, complete with a nice tray. It's not chipped up really, a couple little dents, but not too bad. 10 bucks for that case, which it is suitable for your Star Wars and Shogun Warriors, in case you were wondering. Yeah, nice, 10 bucks. And I got one of these combat cases, which I love. I remember these vividly from being on the shelves at Toys R Us when I was a kid and thinking, what the hell is this? But yeah, I love the this vac plastic, this raised plastic on there. And this was from the good folks at Terra Toy, 1987. Also complete with nice trays, really nice trays actually. Yeah, I do dig the generic cases. Wouldn't mind having a whole collection of them.
So, do you even G.I. Joe, bro, if you go to the G.I. Joe show and don't buy any G.I. Joe stuff? Of course not. You got to get some G.I. Joe stuff while you're there. Now, my relationship with G.I. Joe is complicated. I love G.I. Joe. Like most people from my generation, I had a ton of them as a kid. But I don't buy tons of them because it's such a big line and I'm never going to complete it. And it helps that a dear friend of mine, Brian, who lives a couple blocks away, has one of the most complete G.I. Joe collections you could ever hope to see. And so I know if I ever just want to visit G.I. Joes, they're right there. So I have owned some really expensive G.I. Joe pieces in the past. I had complete mint boxed the Dreadnought sets, the Assault and the Air ground assault sets. I've had Terradromes, I've had the Flag, I've had it all. But yeah, I just don't want to put a lot of money into it because when they're too expensive, I start thinking, well, I don't need these, and I sell them off. Whereas if they're cheap, I can just put them on a shelf and look at them, then I'm probably going to hang on to them. So anyways, the toy department out of Cincinnati is always at this show, and usually they have tables full of cases of mint, loose figures, and they have tons of boxed vehicles. This year it was a little different. Their booth was pretty much all cheap stuff, like beaters. And what was really cool is that I saw kids buying, vintage G.I. Joe vehicles because they were cheap. So it was a really cool idea. And so they had Vamps for $5. Now it's missing a steering wheel and one gas canister. And I think that's what he said they were all like. So, but for $5, you set your clutch in there. You have a nice little piece you can sit on the shelf. They had these hydrofoils for $25. And of course it's missing stuff. It's missing the windshields. It's got some breaking points there. But you couldn't even ship one of these on eBay for $25. So for $25 for one just to sit in the background somewhere and look at, it's pretty cool. Now I do need to clean him up a bit. He also had $50
Rattlers and Sky Strikers. So the Rattler, some of the missiles are like, I guess, from later releases. The canopy has a broken hinge or a broken tab on there on the hinge. And there's some issues with the landing gear. I don't really want to pull them out because they look like they're going to snap. But if you just want a Rattler to sit somewhere or to occasionally pick up and fly around your room, $50, you're not going to do much better than that, honestly. And same thing with the Sky Strikers. There's no parachutes and no landing gear, but all the missiles are there. It has a canopy. It's a little ugly, but I'm going to work on that. And yeah, again, $50. I was quite happy with that. So if we have all these vehicles, now we need some dudes to drive them around. But before we get to the dudes, we have a few more cheap vehicles. So this was the closing hours of the show, and I was just kind of looking at cheap vehicles, kind of inspired by what I'd already picked up at the toy department. And there were a couple that I thought if I could find them cheap, I'd pick them up because I loved them as a kid. And one was the Cobra Wolf. Loved this one as a kid. Absolutely one of my favorites. And the Devilfish. Because I would play with this thing in the pool for hours and hours and hours. So I thought, I want a Devilfish, and I'd like to get a Wolf. And I also love the Dreadnoks. Maybe we'll get a Thunder Machine. So anyways, I ended up picking up a really nice one, a Devilfish from a guy for $20, and I was happy with that. It's got all the missiles, and it even has the tubes in the back, which are almost never there. So yeah, I did pay $20 for him. But for these, I paid $50 for the lot. So just $10 a piece, and I thought that was very fair. This one is really nice. It's missing the hoses, but you can always get hoses. At least the tabs aren't broken off. That's the main thing. It does have all the missiles though, so that's cool. Got another one to add to the armada of Devilfish that I'm apparently building now. This one has a broken tab, so we'd have to glue that missile on there. But he basically threw that one in for free. We got a Triple T. The issues with this one, it is missing the engine cover. That would be an expensive piece unless I can, dig one off of a junker. And there's a broken tab in here, so that wants to come off. So we're going to glue that. We're going to clean this thing up first. We glue that on, and this will be okay for now until, Triple T's are not very expensive. But the main thing is that the little joystick handle is there. That thing is usually broken off. Got ourselves a cheap Thunder Machine. We're missing, of course, the antenna and the steering wheel. That's what's always missing on these guys. But otherwise, pretty nice. And again, the winner was the Cobra Wolf. So, yeah, for less than $10 a piece after he cut me the deal, I was perfectly happy with that. We got some more cheap vehicles for the Joe's shelf. And since I picked up all of those vehicles, I decided I may as well pick up drivers for them since we're at the G.I. Joe show, right? So since we got that cheap Rattler, picked up another Wild Weasel. Of course, I just sold one of these recently, but I got a really clean one for $10, which is about what I want to pay for loose figures for these vehicles. I didn't want to put a lot of money into them. I just want something cheap that I can display. And I found some of these people were asking more like 20, but I did find one booth, $10, nice shape. Grabbed an Ice Viper for the Cobra Wolf, also $10, which is what I want to pay. He's got his helmet. The helmet is really cool. This was a favorite of mine, one of my favorite vehicles when I was a kid. He is missing his daggers. The daggers are going to run you some money because they're so small, but since I'm just going to put him in the vehicle, I didn't really care about the accessories. I just wanted that cool helmet. And again, $10 is what I wanted to pay, and we did it. We got a couple of lampreys for our Cobra hydrofoil, again $10 a piece. Neither of them has their gun. Guys that had them with the gun were asking like 20, and again, I don't need the gun, they're just going to sit in the vehicle, so that's what I want to pay. Got a really nice straight arm clutch. Straight arm clutch with the helmet for $15 to put in the Vamp, which I think is great for a straight arm figure. I know clutch and breaker and some of the other ones, they're pretty easy to find, even the straight arms for like 20 or 25. But 15 for a nice straight arm was a good deal, I think. Also picked up a complete Thrasher with his accessory for $8. My friend Brian dug this out for me. I kind of had him hunting for cheap drivers for me. I would tell him, look, I got this vehicle, I need a $10 so-and-so, and he would find them. And so he said, how about $8 for a complete Thrasher? I said, that sounds good to me. Also picked up a $20 Sergeant Slaughter to go with the Triple T. Not bad. Of course, he's missing his baton because that would make him like a $40 or $50 figure. And these are, I'm not using these for, you know, complete display purposes. These are just to sit in the vehicles. And lastly, I did pay up for a nice Ace. He was $25, but he was so clean and so white, and the helmet was nice. And so I thought, you know what, this looks good. And if I decide at one point to get a nicer Sky Striker, I'll be good to go on him because he is so sweet looking. So yeah, got our dudes. And now the big purchases of the weekend were ironically not Joe's. They were Transformers. I got this stuff, I think it was from Mike's Vintage Toys. I have been flirting with doing a Pretenders collection ever since I picked up a bunch of them at the Wonderfest last year. And I've been working on these for a bit. Here you can see them. And there they are. You can see them. And so got this Skullgrin. It was $125, which I thought was a really good deal because just the figure alone can run you like $75 to $100 complete. And he is complete. He's nice, not yellowed or anything. Has all of his accessories. He's got his instruction booklet, but he had the box. And the boxes are not easy to come by, at least in my experience. I can't even find a boxed comp for a sold one. So for $125, that seemed like a good deal. Now there is no insert in there, but that's okay because I will display him sitting in front of the box anyways. So yeah, that was good. And then I couldn't turn down this Galvatron. Galvatron is one of my favorite designs, one of my favorites as a kid. I love all the movie figures. And this was boxed complete for $200. And I've paid more than that years ago. So yeah, for $200 boxed Galvatron, really nice shape. I was really happy with that deal, and so I went ahead and did it. So yeah, cool Transformers stuff. So here we have my favorite pickup from the weekend, which is this huge lot of Superpowers figures. This was the deal that I did with Anthony, also known as Froggy Flips. I had contacted him because I picked up a pretty rare Warrior Beasts 2-pack set of figures at an estate sale back in the fall. If you look at that estate sale video, you can see me just sort of casually put the dinosaur to the side because I did not know what it was. And thankfully there was a very helpful viewer who responded in the comments that they actually belong together. And once I realized what they were, I put it in a display case and I thought, well, that's neat. You know, it's a rare toy. I know it's rare because I couldn't find any price comps on it, at least nothing recent. There were some things on Worth Point from a few years ago. So it seemed very rare and hard to find. But it wasn't something I really cared about. You know, I had it in a display case, and the only reason I liked it was because it was rare. It's cool, but it's not something I collect. So I knew that he had been working on his Warrior Beasts collection for a while, and I thought it might be something he'd be interested in. And I also figured he would be at the Kentuckiana G.I. Joe show because I met him there last year. So I shot him a message and said, hey, would you be interested in this thing? You know, I'd be happy to do a trade. I'd just be happy to get this in your collection because I think it's the sort of thing you would like. So he was enthusiastic about it, and we talked about, you know, approximate value and agreed on something. And so he showed up that morning and brought a boatload of Superpowers to go through. He also brought some turtles and stuff I had mentioned, but once I looked at the Superpower stuff, I knew this is really what I wanted. I've really kind of gotten interested in this line again. You know, I've been in and out of it a few times, but I really wanted an opportunity just to pick up a chunk of them all at once. So we agreed on a price, and he was very generous in his appraisal. You know, I think you could see it either way. I think some folks think maybe he would get the better end because he got the really super rare thing, but from a financial standpoint, based on what I had in it, he made a very generous offer to me, and I was really pleased with it. So yeah, I'm super happy to have these. So you have a lot of the very first wave of figures here, the ones you're pretty familiar with, and they're all pretty clean. I mean, they're actually really nice and complete. And then the winners here, you know, these are what, the last wave of figures. You have Tyr. You know, I'm a huge Legion of Superheroes fan, so this is one I've always liked. And you have Orion, great Jack Kirby character. I love all the Fourth World stuff that's in that last wave. And then, of course, the Brainiac, who is unbroken. A little bit of chipping on the paint here and there, but nothing, you know, unreasonable. He's actually really clean. Looks nice. So I'm really happy with that. Thrilled with the trade. Thank you, Mr. Froggy Flips, for agreeing to it. I think we both, walked away really happy. He got an awesome piece that neither of us is probably ever going to see again, and it's for his, permanent collection. And I got a boatload of things that I really, really love. So everyone's happy. And there they are. Superpowers. And there you have it, folks. Kentuckiana G.I. Joe Expo 2025. I had much better footage for day one that I managed to lose for reasons which would make perfect sense if you knew me personally. That's the sort of thing I do. So I will apologize. The day one footage is all just what I could cobble together from the GoPro. The second day I did much better. I just used the handheld gimbal to get phone footage and get you a little more detail on those cases and displays. So if you put it all together, there's probably something there worth looking at. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed it at all, if you'd like to subscribe or like or smash or touch or ring or notify yourself or any of that good stuff, it is appreciated. If not, that's always fine too. Thanks again, and I'll see you the next time I have something worth showing you. Bye-bye.